We're going to talk about, it's written so eloquently as the title of this video, pressing thick stuff. And by that I mean things that have batting in them. If I'm putting together embroidered blocks that have batting in them, quilt as you go projects, tote bags, purses, things, pillow around the outside of pillows that you put batting in. Sometimes it's really hard to get those pressed nicely. There's a couple tricks and a couple tools that work for that. I'm going to just mention a few things. This is just the wool pressing mat. These work great for any type of just regular pressing. They are absorbent. The product, your project actually will sink in here a little. It won't get flattened. If you're doing things like embroidery blocks, you can press on here and your project won't get squashed. And also the wool absorbs the heat, and so it actually heats from the top and bottom as you're pressing, so it makes your pressing a whole lot quicker. Really easy if you're piecing just 2 layers of cotton. So the pressing mats work great for that. Cheryl did a video a while ago on talking about different liquid products, Material Magic and Best Press. We did get some cute new little bottles in. This one says Iron Maiden, and this one is Friends Don't Let Friends Go to Quilt Shops Alone, and this one is Nothing Like a Little Color Therapy to Brighten Your Day. The nice thing about these is that they have a bladder inside of them, so they give you a constant spray. When I squeeze this, can you see that on film? I squeeze and it just keeps going, and you saw how far it could spray. The nice thing about that is I don't have to keep pumping and pumping and pumping. Much easier on my hand, and it gives me just a really nice overall mist of Best Press, water, whatever product you're using. So those are nice and handy. I am going to be demoing with my favorite iron. This little guy does have steam in it. It's a tiny little chamber. Normally I'm pressing dry or using Best Press, but it has a really small surface to it, but it gets very hot and it is temperature controlled. So I do a lot of fusibles. It works really well on fusibles because it gets as hot as you need it to be. It also will go cool for the fusibles that you need a real light silk setting. So it works great. I'm going to talk about a couple different tools and show you how they work. This I have just 2 embroidery blocks that I've got stitched together. On embroidery blocks, the batting is stitched in. Can you see okay, Cheryl? Should I move closer to you?
No, I'm going to come in.
Okay, so all the batting is stitched in here. It is trimmed away, so I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance and then my batting. And when I stitch my 2 blocks together, which I've done here, to get them nice and flat, if I just press this, I'm flattening part of my applique, and I don't want to sink my stitches into the background. So I'm going to press from the back, and what I want to do is press these seams open. And if I just do that with my iron, it doesn't give me as clean a press because it's bulky right here, and I can't get that as flat as I want it to be against the ironing board. This is a pressing stick, handy dandy sewing basket pressing stick. This lays right underneath. This is an old tailor's tool. Tailors used to use this to press, and still do, use it to press like the side seam of slacks on a really nice, like a wool pair of slacks. If you don't use a pressing stick, if you just press it flat, the edge of your seam allowance will actually show. You'll have your seam and you'll see a ridge on both sides where the seam allowance was. And obviously on a nice pair of dress slacks, you don't want to be seeing that. But it also helps me to get a flat press. So I'm going to just gently open this with my fingers. And what I have is it's laid right over the center of the curve. I'm pressing here. The project falls away on both sides, so that edge isn't actually getting pressed into there. And I'm going to use my little iron, and I'm going to go right along the top of that board and just keep it right in the middle, and I'm pressing this open. And if I do that, I'm only going to do half of it for a second. And if you look at, and now I'm going to just press this other half here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, and I'll give it a good press. It's nowhere near as smooth as this side, and this is about half the thickness. Here I still feel a ridge. Here that ridge is completely flattened. So I go across here, and I'm going to just finish that whole thing, and I'm giving it a good hard press all the way across. And what that does, I'm just kind of rocking my iron just a little bit, what that does is give me a really, really flat compressed seam. So it will really help, probably by about 1/3 to 1/2. It'll compress that batting that's in there and give me a really nice flat seam. So that's what your pressing stick is for. Works great with embroidered blocks and quilt as you go projects. Again, anything that has batting in it where you're wanting that seam open and flat. When you're working on tote bags, your side seams and your top edge, they'll look a lot nicer. This one was not pressed with a pressing stick. It's just not as flat and smooth as something that I pressed with a pressing stick. So, and I've got batting in there, and that's why it's not quite as flat as it would be. Now I always use a pressing stick. I made this one quite a while ago. The second thing, and there is our phone call. It wouldn't be Wednesday Wise, guys, if there weren't a phone call in the middle of the presentation. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is the clapper. Again, our little sewing basket clapper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this outer edge. And this is the edge that the lining is going to go into the bag. And then I'm going to top stitch around here. And this is just going to make a little cuff around the top of my bag. But often when you're top stitching a tote bag, edge of a pillow, anything that's thick, it's really hard to get a nice crisp top stitch. And so what I'm going to do is I pull the 2 layers apart. This is my lining, this is my bag, and I'm going to take my little iron and I'm going to just press. What I'm doing is pressing this seam open, and I'm not worried about anything else. I'm just opening that seam allowance. So this is nice and flat. And then I'm going to take a little best press. If you're at home and it's not COVID, this is when you lick your fingers, but we don't do that anymore. So I'm going to just spray some best press, get my fingers in it, and I'm going to roll this inside the bag. And what I want to do is roll this so that the edge of the seam is straight up at the top. I don't see the lining from the front, and I don't see the front fabric from the back. I get that nice and lined up, and then I actually pull it over the corner of my ironing board.
So the reason for the best press or water is just to
separate the fabrics. It's really hard to get it to roll and have them apart just right without your fingers slide on the fabric. Okay. If you get them wet, then you can get it held just the way you want. And then I'm going to come back. This is why I like my little iron, because I'm going to work just the little area that is between my fingers. And I'm going to press this, and I'm going to get it real hot. And then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put my clapper on it. And I'm going to hold it here. What the clapper does, it's made of hardwood. The wood absorbs the moisture, and it cools the fabric. So it sets this much thinner. If you look at what I've just clapped here, how thin that is compared to this side, that isn't. I don't know if you'll be able to see that well. I don't know if that'll come through. But it will make that about twice as thin, and it makes it much easier and smoother to top stitch. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go all the way around that top edge, and you'll notice what happens when I put it over the edge of the board. Sometimes the top pulls back a little, so I want to be sure that that top edge is not being pulled back as I'm stitching, or excuse me, as I'm pressing. So I just kind of do this. I get that under my iron, nice and hot, bring my clapper back, and I'm pressing down, not hard enough to collapse my ironing board, but I'm giving it enough pressure that it's compressing that fabric and it's soaking up. When I take it off, this is much thinner. And I'm just going to work all the way around my bag. And as I go, exact same thing each way. Kind of push my iron this way and then come back and press. So the first thing I'm going to do again is before I start, I'm going to press this seam where they connect open to get that nice and flat. I open that, then this goes inside, and then I press and I use my clapper. And that will get this super thin. It works great around the top of bags and totes. You'll have such a much easier time pressing when you're doing any of your bags and totes when you're putting the bags together. So that's the pressing stick, the clapper, and some best press. The pattern that I used right here is our Mix 6 bag pattern. This is a 6-pack of fabric and pieced with a handle that is made out of webbing, and you can also do a fabric handle as well. This bag, by the way, we just put up in our Studio Y online learning classes. It's a $19.99 class. It includes the pattern. The pattern is normally $7.99 on its own. So this is a full video class. If you go to sewingbasket.biz, click on the shopping page, there's a series of categories down the left. Pick the one that says classes, and in there you'll see a picture that says Mix 6 tote bag. Click on that. It's $19.99. Within a few hours to a day, you'll get an email that gives you the password to get in and the link to the class, and then you watch the entire class. It's full video, step by step how to do the whole bag. You can pause it, back up, and watch it anytime you want to. So that's one of our new classes up. We also put up the Introduction to Applique last week. So those are in there, and that's also where all of our free classes